They were totally naked, facing me like this. I'm trying to cycle, I'm trying to balance here, I'm trying not to look, I'm trying to. It was, that was the scariest thing. So, lovely if you subscribe. If you have been abroad before, then I know that you have experienced certain cultural shocks, right? The first shock was how people were literally running. I saw people running in suits, people running in heels, and I was just like, what is happening? What is going on? Why is everybody running? People who look very, elegant, put together, people were running, and I was wondering what is happening. Just to find out that here, trains, everything is super punctual, and if you come from one train and you have another train and it's probably on platform A and the other one is on platform M, you literally have to run from this platform to the other one in order for you to get this train. So I just saw people flying blazers going up and down, and I was like, oh my god, this was really so funny, but also like, okay. So that was my very first cultural shock. Culture shock number two. So I got invited by a couple of friends, my workmates, and it was the first week, and they just wanted to show me around the country and the city we were staying in, and tell me about the do's and don'ts about the city and so forth. So they invited me to this beautiful restaurant, and I was like, okay, I got dressed up and I tagged along. As soon as we got there, they were like, no, order whatever you want. It doesn't matter. You can get this, you can get that. And I was like, oh, interesting. So I started ordering. Basically, I got this nice pizza, and it was like you could cut the pizza with the scissor. It was very nice. I ordered the pizza, we ate, and then I got a drink, and they were like, if you want something else, you can get another drink. I was like, oh, okay, interesting. So I got another drink, and then the cashier came. So the cashier came and she started calculating. She was like, madam, you ate food for this amount, and you ordered for this amount, and you ordered for this amount. And for you, she came to me, she was like, you ordered for about 11 euros. And I was like, oh, okay. So she left the bill there and she went quickly. And everybody started, taking out their money. And the lady came back and she was like, okay, your money, because we were four people. And then she came to me. Everybody started looking at me. And I was like, uh, do I have to pay for myself? And they all looked at me shocked, like, duh, what do you think? Because where I'm from, you invite me somewhere, you take care of that. You invite me to your house, I don't have to bring anything because you're going to have all the food, and. So unfortunately, I didn't have any euros on me at the time. I didn't even have a bank account. That was the very first week I was here. So I had to ask one of the ladies, the one who asked me, so that she could pay for me, and then I would refund her after I get my first, paycheck and stuff. It was the most embarrassing day, and I thought whoever invited me, either they explained to me who's going to pay, or I'm probably not going to tag along. So that was the very second cultural shock that I had here in Germany. Culture shock number three that I've experienced here in Germany was, where I'm from. Basically, we were taught not to touch bodily fluids, whether blood or just specific fluids coming out of another person. You're not supposed to touch it with bare hands. You I grew up with a mom who was advocating for all of these things, safety, whether HIV and AIDS and all of those things. And then I got here and we went to a workshop and we were busy doing some stuff, cutting with knives and this girl cuts her finger, and everybody started rushing. They got tissue and they started helping her out, and somebody was trying to compress on top of her finger with this tissue, and she was bleeding and the blood was going on his hands. And I was just shocked, like, how is one person touching the other person's blood? Do you know their status and what so forth? And this is not all. I saw another incident again. Something happened like that. Somebody hit themselves on the street, and then they tried. A next person came to help, and they did exactly the same thing. So they rushed and they were trying to help the person, and they held their wound literally with their hands to stop their blood. And for me, that was really like, whoa, wait, is that like how everybody does it here? Because I was taught how dangerous this is, touching somebody else's bodily fluid, because you never know what could be passing through one person to another. Well, these were just about 2 to 3 experiences that I've seen. I'm not saying everybody here is like that, but it was just shocking to me because I'm taught not to do that. So the fourth cultural shock basically was, when you go to the shops and nobody actually packs your groceries for you. You enter the shop and then you buy your stuff and you take along your own bag, definitely. So you can pack your stuff in this bag that you brought with, even if you haven't paid yet. You pack your stuff in this bag, and then when you go to the till, you empty it, you scan, and that's where the marathon begins, because everybody, they scan, and you have to rush and pick these things up and still try to find a way to come back and pay. So it's a little bit complicated when it comes to that. But I was just surprised because back home you cannot enter a shop with your bag like that and then start packing the things inside your bag, because people will think you're probably stealing. And number two, there's always somebody by the cashier, like next to the cashier, who's packing the things for you, right? There's always somebody packing the things for you, and you don't have to do that yourself. And we also have plastic bags. We used to get these plastic bags for free, even though before I left it was like started becoming like 50 cents Namibian dollars. And but then in most shops you find it actually for free, and there's always a plastic bag, somebody packs the things for you. But here you got to either buy a bag or bring your own bag. Or there was even a time I took along a suitcase, went with a whole suitcase and packed the things there, because it's crazy. With culture shock number 5, I think it's number 5, right? This is when you get into a new apartment. So I was very surprised to know that when you are renting an apartment, you could actually find that in this apartment there is no kitchen. By kitchen I mean like it's an entire open room. There's no stove, there's no zinc, there's literally nothing. It's just an open space, and when somebody who's moving out of this apartment leave, they usually take along their whole kitchen. Unless you negotiate, you buy it from them. Otherwise, you have to bring along your own kitchen. And this you get from like IKEA or different furniture shops, where you come and mount it yourself, you measure the kitchen, and then you go buy a new kitchen. And it's just crazy, like moving into a house. Thank God it's not with the bathroom, because I cannot imagine moving into a new apartment and you need to bring along your toilet and your shower. That would be crazy. But that was one. And within it also, when you're looking for an apartment, it could say 3-room apartment. That does not mean you get 3 rooms. Basically, that probably means it's 2 rooms and a sitting room, or 2 rooms and a bathroom, or 1 room and a bathroom and a sitting room. So you need to make sure that you double check. Otherwise, you might get an apartment for three room apartment, and when you get there, there's only one bedroom, and the rest of the rooms is a sitting room and a bathroom, for example. And they're also quite small as well. Back home we have like big houses, we have bigger rooms and open area. There's a yard outside and there's enough space. But here is like so little. The houses are like on top of one another, and then you have a little room. It's just not as free and open as um back home. And then the kitchen could also be like a little, just a little space where you have a mini zinc, you have a mini fridge. And then it's yeah, with 80 million people, you can just imagine how it is living here. Well, the other thing that I had to get used to is how to sort trash. That was one of the nightmares. This was so taunting and so annoying for me in the beginning. Back home we do have as well, like plastic and paper, and so you find these trash cans like in town or somewhere around for recycling and so, but not at home. We usually have these green dustbins. Where I'm from, at my house, we had a green dustbin where you literally throw everything except like rocks and sand. Those you go throw at the like the main big trash area. And also when it's like liquids like food, either you put it in the toilet pot, or you also go and throw it at that main trash area. But otherwise we had a dustbin in the house. But here in Germany, in my house for example, we have about what, five five dustbins. You have one just for paper, papers and boxes and stuff. You have another one just for plastic, so everything plastic goes in there. And then you have another one which is for biomule, which is biodegradable things, so like fruits and peels, potato peels and stuff, uncooked food. And then you have another one for cooked food, which is like rest meal. You put everything in there. And then this is also similar to the one you find in the bathroom, where you put like used I don't know, tampons, earbuds, diapers, and what so you have to literally have different dustbins in the house and sort these things out. And I I never get used to these things. And then you still go outside to empty these dustbins, and there's like a whole queue of dustbins where you have to put this. And not only that, you have glass. You have another group of dustbins just for glass. And this is like yellow glass, green glass, clear glass. So it's a whole crazy scenario. But it's actually good when it comes to recycling, and you know everybody follows this. So that's one good thing about it, but you really need to get used to, because sometimes I would ask like, okay, where should I put this can? They're like, I really don't know. You find specific things. There's also a trash can for batteries, like used batteries and stuff. It's a lot. It's a lot, but I mean, you get used to it. You get used to it. The next cultural shock was like being overdressed. Well, according to the people here, I seem to be overdressed, or me and my friends seem to be overdressed. They always seem to be like, so why are you dressed like that? Why are you overdressed? Where are you going? You're like, what do you mean? Where am I going? I am. This is not even overdoing it. This is just like basics. But because people are used to, just sneakers and a jean and a t-shirt, put on a scarf or whatsoever, they're so comfortable and chill. But we show up, we come, put in extras. But I mean, we're just used to that. So difference in styles as well. And while on that note, the other thing I've also noticed is like, if you come to a party, for example, you meet, new people, people that are open are usually the ones who have traveled around the globe before, who have been in and out of Germany, but the others are usually a little bit reserved, and so, or if they speak English, then mostly they're also open to like interact, but otherwise they are, close off. But then you might find somebody, and then you're vibing that night, you're vibing, you're dancing together, you're talking, you have a nice story, and then tomorrow you meet this person on the street, and then you feel like, oh, we were together yesterday. So you go up to them and you're like, oh, hi, hello, how are you? Don't be surprised if this person looks at you and they're like, oh, hi, and they just go away, and you're like, did I say something wrong? Did I do something? I mean, back home, if we were vibing like yesterday together somewhere, and then we got to know each other a little bit, when I meet you the next day, we're definitely gonna be like, oh my god, hi, the you from yesterday. Yeah, we might even become friends from there on and stuff like that. But here, that does not mean because we were chilling yesterday and we're dancing together and everything, today now we are friends. No, no, darling, it needs to take about 6 months. One thing that really never stops to annoy me, which is also a culture shock, is the ambulance. You know, back home we do have ambulances, and sometimes when they approach the traffic lights and it's maybe rush hours, then they can put on the siren and go through, or if it's really like an urgent situation. But on a just normal, nothing, no rush, nothing happens, they don't like put on the siren. But here, the siren keeps going on and on and on, even if there are no cars on the street, even if the traffic lights it's not occupied and stuff like that, the siren just goes on. All this, either the firefighters or the ambulance or the police, it just goes on, and it is super annoying. That siren just goes on and on and on, even if the lights are already green, they just go, the siren just goes on. One of the culture shock again is that people are open to their religion here. They're open to say, I'm not Christian, I don't believe, I'm not a believer, I'm so and so, and that's okay. I once asked a friend, I was like, oh my God, I need to get this, please, please pray for me. And she was like, no, I'm not gonna pray for you. I was like, oh, why? I said, because I don't pray. I'm like, is that like a joke? I said, no, I'm just maybe gonna, press my thumb for you, because here we don't say cross your finger, we say press my thumb for you. And yeah, because I don't pray. And I was like, oh, why don't you pray? She said, because I'm not a believer, I don't pray. I got baptized and I got confirmed just for my parents, but I'm not a believer. And I was like, right, everybody has their own opinion, they believe what they believe, and that's how it is here. You cannot pressure anybody to do what you want them to do. You can evangelize and tell them here and there, but it's, at the end of the day, it's still up to them whether to follow that or not. The very last culture shock, which I couldn't wait to tell you guys, is is the way people are free with their bodies here. By that I mean like free being naked. So I went with my friends to this lake, and I was on a bicycle. And mind you, I didn't cycle back home because we have like taxis and stuff. So cycling was just for fun, but I also didn't know how to cycle, by the way. I learned when I came here to Germany. So I was cycling, and this was like the very first months, and my balance was not 100% yet. So I'm busy cycling, and it's like it's not on the road, it's on a hill like place, because it's by a lake. And so, and two men walks towards me, literally absolutely naked, in like their 50, late 50, early 60s. And so they were totally naked, facing me like this. I'm trying to cycle, I'm trying to balance here, I'm trying not to look, I'm trying to approach me, and I literally almost fell off my bike, because I've never seen like like an old man walking naked like that. Everything was just jiggling around, and it was not the most prettiest thing to see. But I was like, oh my goodness, what is happening? It was first time to that lake, and then I entered the area where everybody, like the beach area, and I was even more traumatized. People were laying with no t-shirts on. The ladies had their breast hanging everywhere, no underwear. They were swimming, and some were just getting tan there without, any clothes on. Kids were running around fully naked, and some had no t-shirt but shorts on, or it was just like freedom. Everybody could do what they want, and that's that's how it is. So that was really like the major shock. And the second one was like, people just kiss everywhere here, like whether you're on the bus, you are at the bus stop, you are, wherever in a shop. If Well, back home it's different. You don't just, stand around and kiss around, because this auntie might be like, hey, this child from who, and then they go and tell your parents, and it's just crazy. But otherwise here, people just stand around and do what they want to do. It's freedom for everybody. Those are the cultural shocks that I've experienced here in Germany, and I hope you have enjoyed this video. Oh, definitely there are more cultural shocks. I could make another video on this, but otherwise, it at the end.